Welcome, everyone. My name is Aidana Tmagareva, and I'm the online events manager at KZLT, starting today. Thank you for joining us today for this important session on implementing differentiated approaches to support individualized learning. Every month, as you know, we have 1-2 webinars for the professional development on particular topic for the members of KZLT. Local and international experts are usually the speakers. There is a kind reminder. After the webinar, you all are going to get the certificate for attendance, so stay with us till the end. Also, please rename yourself officially with your names and surnames during the meeting. Additionally, after the webinars, you will be given the Google form in KZLT chat. Every participant should complete it to get the certificate. And within 5 days, your certificates will be sent to your emails. Please make sure to write the emails correctly. We have the KZLT platform, and all members have the access to the recordings that will be uploaded after the webinar. And once again, thank you everyone for joining us today. We truly appreciate your time, presence, and engagement during the webinar. If you have any questions, you can type them in the chat or wait till the end of the webinar to ask. So let's give a warm welcome to our speaker, Ainur Aliyeva. Ainur Aliyeva is an expert teacher at Nazarbayev Intellectual School, Astana, with extensive experience and a deep passion for innovation in education. She has been leading and contributing to numerous school-based research projects, exploring how differentiated instruction and inclusive approaches can make learning effective and meaningful for all students. Miss Ainur, the screen is yours. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Aidana. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar today. I'm really excited about this event. So this is actually not my first time, but this is first time, my first time experience of doing webinars, of conducting webinars in KZLT as a member of KZLT. So today, as you know, we are going to talk about implementing differentiated instruction to support individualized learning. Well, I think differentiated instruction has become a buzzword for all teachers all around the world. Well, I don't think that it's going to be an exaggeration because there is so much literature on this topic, and whenever you go and everywhere, like in every school, so teachers talk about differentiation because it's, of course, there is no doubt that differentiated instruction is one of the leading, maybe pedagogical approaches, especially in the context of inclusive education. But today also we will focus on differentiation, but also we'll talk about inclusive education, because these two concepts, this approach is of course very closely linked to the principles of inclusive education. Well, and Aidana already introduced me. So I work at NIS Astana. So I'm English teacher. Also, I teach global perspectives and project work. So this is an inquiry-based subject. And also, I got my master's degree at Nazarbayev University in 2018. And actually, the topic of my thesis, of my master thesis, was differentiated instruction. Okay. So moving on, I just want to hear from our dear teachers, from participants of today's webinar. And of course, the question that we start to warm up is, what does differentiation mean to you? And how do you respond to student differences? How do you support different students in your class? Well, it would be great if we can hear from participants, and if you want to share, so please feel free to jump in and share your ideas. So, or you can actually put your responses, so you can type your responses in the chat, and I can read and share, and maybe yes, and give some comments probably.
Maybe I can share something.
Yeah, of course,
So
Aldana.
for me, differentiation is a challenge, actually, because we talk about it a lot, but when it comes to practice, it's a challenge. It doesn't mean like it doesn't matter where you work. Is it a private school or a school for gifted children, or is it a state school? Anywhere you have different students, and each time you have to be flexible. You have to adapt to the needs of your students. That's why for me, differentiation means a challenge all the time, like never-ending challenge.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I totally agree. And of course, as a teacher, as a practicing teacher, I can totally relate to what you are saying. It's always a challenge. Yeah. So like getting to know your students, adjusting different strategies, approaches, thinking about curriculum, thinking about planning and assessment. Of course, it's a lot. It's a lot for a teacher, but this is also one of the strategies that works in the context of inclusive education. And actually, inclusive education is not only so today, like in the context of today's of my presentation. Inclusive education is not only about special educational needs, but actually every class is inclusive and actually should be inclusive, because we, as teachers, we have to make sure that everyone is included, no one is excluded because of the maybe task, because of the like difficulty levels, or maybe because of the lack of maybe some strategies, approaches to help to support students. Well, so I think that we can move on. And well, actually, I wanna now come up with sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Miss Ainur, we actually have some response in the chat.
In the chat. Okay, great. So let me check it because okay, well, so in the chat, right. Okay, so now I got it. Mm-hmm. And I saw that I heard. Okay, well, great. Yeah, so is scaffolding and flexible to students, adapting teaching to help students learn effectively. Yeah, so great responses, of course. So these are, so it's all about adaptations, it's all about modifications, adjusting our practices. So that is true. Well, so now if we go into the body of literature, so I can also suggest one of the definitions, which actually I used in my master's thesis. Well, of course, like any definitions, like all definitions, they also update over time. But this one, I think, is really one. I mean, this one is looks quite substantial to me, because as you can see, it says that it's a value-grounded teaching. So it means that differentiation is not only about teaching, but it's also about values, teachers' values and teachers' beliefs. And it helps teachers to achieve the goals of inclusive education. So this is what I mentioned already. And of course, it helps to meet the diverse learning needs in their classrooms. And although learning objectives for all learners are the same, but the strategies and approaches that we use, of course, different, because they should because they I mean, they should respond to the diversity of learning interests, needs, and styles. So actually, I so highlighted these words, interests, needs, and styles, because we're gonna get back to these three concepts, because they are also key concepts for differentiated instruction. Well, and yeah, whenever you feel like commenting or give your feedbacks, yeah, so please text in the chat, and I will just check it once in a while so that I can also give my feedback. Well, now let's kind of debunk some maybe myths, yeah, which exist around differentiation. First misunderstanding, which is also very common, is that differentiation is a set of instructional strategies, that it's a ready to use toolkit that teachers can just find, maybe download and use it whenever they have some issues, whenever they face some problems in their classes. But actually, in reality, differentiation is a philosophy. It's a way of thinking about teaching and learning. It is, in fact, a set of principles. So, I mean, if you go and research the literature about differentiated instruction, so you can find even different theories. So differentiation is grounded into different theories, and actually, yeah, it can be considered as a philosophy. It's a way of thinking. Well, next misunderstanding that is also common is that it's up to maybe some school administrators, some leaders, some school leaders, or maybe some professionals or experts in the field to come and to tell or even show how to differentiate instruction effectively in each class. But in reality, of course, it requires teachers, main agents, let's say, rethink one's own classroom practice. And it also includes lots of reflection, and it's actually not like a planned, like polished process, but it's ongoing, sometimes very messy, sometimes very hectic, sometimes very frustrating process of trial, reflection, and adjustment in the classroom. So and you all know that as teachers, we are all like make some decisions, as they said, on feet. Sometimes we have no time to stand and just ponder, to think, but we have to take some actions, make some decisions, and this is how teaching happens, right? So, and it's not like about someone coming and telling us what to do, how to differentiate. It's only about us thinking, rethinking, reflecting, and planning and being proactive, and also making decisions on the spot. Well, next misunderstanding that is also widely spread is that differentiation is something a teacher does or doesn't do. But actually, it's teachers who, with like many years of teaching experience, they pay attention, of course, first of all, to student differences, and they respond accordingly to those differences. So especially with students who have some behavioral issues. And this is maybe one of the most common problem that teachers face, especially in in mainstream schools. And it's true that some students may have some behavioral issues. But at the same time, it's differentiation needs to learn about you. It's about being proactive. It's about learning about your class, getting to know your students, so that you can address their differences proactively. And another misunderstanding is that differentiation is just about instruction, but well, yeah, it is an instructional approach. So it's we can call it approach. We can call it also like strategy. But also, effective differentiate instruction is closely connected with a positive learning environment, high quality curriculum, planning, assessment to inform teacher decision making, and flexible classroom management. So there are three main components, right? So it's being able to create a positive learning environment when every student feels included. Also planning high quality curriculum, also revising, making some maybe adjustments. So depending on our students' diversity, and also even make some adjustments in the assessment. Well, and also I mentioned that I did my master thesis. I did my research on differentiated instruction. So now I want to um, um, to share the purpose of my study and my research results. So this study, of course, it's a bit outdated because, well, but actually, I started this research in 2017 and I finished in 2018. So it took me 1 year to collect data, to analyze, to review literature. And so you can see my main research questions. And also, it was case study design. I use case study design. I selected one school for gifted students in Kazakhstan, and I explored perceptions and practices of differentiated instruction of teachers who are also in the position of subject coordinators, because I wanted to explore not only how, like, what teachers, like, how teachers view what they do, but also to see if also leadership styles or the position, like leadership position, administrative position at school also affects those perceptions and practices. And you can see two questions. So first of all, first was how do teachers perceive the concept of differentiation? Because understanding, exploring understandings is important because understanding defines the process. Because well, there is, of course, there is no deficit, there is no scarcity of literature on differentiated instruction, but also if we look at it as a philosophy, as a mindset of teachers, then also it is relevant to say that every individual school should also like collaboratively create their own understanding, right, and perception of differentiation, of differentiated instruction. Again, taken into consideration differences of their students, because every school is different, right? And the next question also was to to study their practices. And the third one was about implications of teachers' leadership position to implement and differentiate instruction. Well, and now to share briefly my research findings, so you can see, so these are some main findings that some participants, they still perceive differentiation as an ability-based approach, which related to accommodating curricular and assessment standards rather than meeting the needs of learners. Because when I interviewed teachers, so most of them were, most of them shared with me that, first of all, we think about the program because we have to make sure that we complete the program, that we teach the topics, we achieve the learning objectives, and we achieve also assessment objectives. And also, an ability-based approach is about labeling students. For me, and also my perspective is also grounded in the literature. Is that so? Yeah, first of all, it's about considering. So as it was mentioned in the definition from literature, different needs, and different learning styles. But when teachers only focus on ability, labeling students as low achievers, high achievers, or somebody in between, then we talk about ability-based approach. We talk about labeling students. We talk about fixed mindset, not growth mindset, not like, first of all, looking at their strengths, at their interests. Next finding was that teachers who perceive differentiation as a way to create multiple learning opportunities, they use innovative planning and teaching approaches. And those who perceive it as an ability-based approach, they usually use retrofitting practices. So retrofitting practice is the practice when you just choose, like when you, for example, have one task for everyone, and then you just maybe change it to the level, to the ability level of your students. For example, you make it like easier for low achievers, you make it more difficult for high achievers, not considering, not taking into account their interests, their styles, but only take into account their abilities. So when we forget about needs, students' needs, interests and their learning styles, and we take into account only what they can do, right? So then it's not about differentiation, it's about retrofitting. So we just kind of adjust, we make some adjustments, but we don't actually do differentiation. And also I found that there was a lack of shared understanding of the concept of differentiated instruction. And again, contextual understanding of the of differentiated instruction, because of course everyone can find definition, we can go and find in the literature, but still every school should develop their own concept, again taking into consideration some contextual differences, characteristics, some maybe peculiarities of their school setting of their of students. And also I found that there is a deficit of informal collaboration to promote teachers' professional development, because many teachers, they linked differentiation with professional development. And there is a lack of leadership due to managerial style. That was, so these are my research findings. Okay, well, so now going back to students who come to, going back to the strategies and to differentiate instruction approach. So let's look at like student differences. So students come to our class with a variety of, and you can see like this list, and of course many other things may be added probably, again, depending on your own experience. So, but first of all, usually they come with different motivations, variety of motivations, different interests. They have different learning styles. So what is learning style? So some students can be like audio, some can be visual, some can be kinesthetic, some can have like musical, maybe intelligence. So here we can also talk about Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, which is true. And you can observe it in your class that students may have different learning styles, again, depending on their on the theory. I mean, like on their on multiple intelligence, like that people may have. Also, of course, we should consider their prior education experiences, starting from preschool education, early education, kindergarten, also readiness, because they may have, as you see, next point is they may have different readiness levels, and of course some personal experiences. So they may come from different socioeconomic backgrounds, so one-parent families, migrants, and of course, there are also many other factors that should be considered. And therefore, it is necessary to address this diversity. So that is why when we talk about inclusive education, it doesn't mean that inclusive education is only when we have students with special educational needs. So if you look at these, these factors, so we can say, now I think everyone can say that, well, yeah, of course, I have students with different motivations in my class, because sometimes we say, oh, this student is so motivated, this student is not motivated to study. We know that our students have different interests, so that they have different hobbies, that they want to talk, and because when we want to find some interesting topic to engage them into speaking, we also should consider their interests, learning styles, of course, readiness levels, yeah, because some come from because some come from maybe families with good socioeconomic status. Some come from like families which cannot provide their students with some additional classes, with shadow education. So that's why here we can see that they come to school, they even start school with different readiness levels, and of course personal experiences. Well, and going back to now lesson planning consideration. So what should we consider as teachers? And of course, it's about timing of the tasks that we prepare, that we design for students. It's variations of activities. Um, so again, yeah, we want to engage our students. We want them to be active, to participate in activities. So that's why here we also can consider their learning styles. We of course find like we design different types of activities. We make sure that we reinforce key ideas, that no one is excluded, that everyone on the same page, that they get some key concept of the lesson. We recall of previous work. We maybe do some extension work, especially for fast finishers. We link to future work, and of course we give clear step-by-step instructions. So many things to be considered when we want to when we want to differentiate instruction. And now I want to demonstrate you so this slide, and which in which you can see four main elements, or let's say pillars of differentiated instruction according to Carol Ann Tomlinson. She is one of the leading experts in the field of differentiated instruction, and she's been cited a lot by those who explore this topic. And according to Tomlinson, differentiated instruction includes these four aspects. So we first think about differentiating content. We also differentiate process. We differentiate product of learning product. And initially there was three, but also one more element was added. It was affect. So here we take into account students' emotions, feelings, which is also very important. So yeah, as for content, of course, you know that this is about knowledge and understanding, skills that we want our students to learn. As for process, it's how students come to understand or make sense of the content. So what they do, how we can differentiate process and see if students is achieving throughout process. And as for product, we can how do students demonstrate their learning, what they know, understand, and able to do. And now going in more detail to each of these concepts. So first is how we differentiate the content. So like content is about skills, like maybe some topics, maybe some like well, which is more about like some concepts, maybe topics, grammar, if we talk about English. So of course we need to provide resources again considering their levels, audio and video recordings of books, highlighted important vocabulary, definitions, to give maybe some glossary, to provide some definitions. Also, we can create some interest centers. So if we wanna if you want to make sure that we consider their interest as well, we can provide some additional resources, and we can use their classmates as peers and mentors. Well, so now going to differentiating process, it's allowing individual pair group work, allowing different pacing, depending again on their readiness, on their styles, use different leveled or tiered activities. So usually they are called tiered activities, and use some, again, interest centers. And as for product, usually, so tiered product choices, they include, mm, so they also, I mean, when we use this approach, we can assign different tasks within the same lesson. And we can encourage use of different technologies to support learning, make sure that products they also that they support their learners' needs. So probably some students they struggle with writing, some students struggle with speaking, some students struggle with maybe I don't know, reading. So that's why we need to make sure that so the demonstration of the product is also adjusted to their needs. And also we need to consider these challenges so that we can think how we can help students to overcome these challenges, and so that they can also so they can demonstrate different products, not the same, because everyone cannot be the same and everyone cannot just demonstrate the same product. And that's also differentiation of the learning product. And also we can consider using different arts integration to support learning products. For example, they can draw something instead of writing, they can draw something instead of speaking, but at the same time, of course, step by step, we we try to provide like more scaffolding, as one of the participants mentioned, or more support so that students can overcome these challenges and difficulties. But first of all, of course, we have to make sure that we support in every way so that students can demonstrate the product of their learning, even though they have challenges. So that's why we differentiate those products. Well, and some strategies to make it work. Well, one of the most common strategy is tiered instruction. It's about, again, changing the level of complexity or required readiness of tasks in order to meet the needs of students, and tasks that vary that can be different from student to student. Again, based on these three pillars: their interest, learning style or learning profile, their readiness, or their need. Well, so what can be tiered? Again, if we so we can tier assignments, we can tier activities, we can tier homework, materials, assessment, and give them different writing prompts. So this is when we talk about content, process, and product. Well, so what can be adjusted? We can adjust level of difficulty, of course, because even though, so in my research, I mentioned that in my research back in 2018, so one of the findings was that students who focus more on ability, yes, they do not actually use differentiation, but they just retrofit their instruction, they adjust their instruction. But at the same time, of course, not consider, it's impossible to not to consider also students' abilities, because especially especially in mainstream schools, we may have students with just like with huge differences in their abilities and readiness. So that's why, of course, we need to consider level of difficulty and also pacing of the lesson, of the task preparation, and materials. We can go from specific to general to provide more support to some students. Options which are determined by interest, because once we get to know our students, so we can also accommodate their interests when designing, preparing class materials, tasks, different handouts, and of course some options according to their learning styles. Again, knowing our students, like getting to know our students better, knowing about their learning styles. Well, and also another approach, another strategy, which is also one of the key strategies in differentiated instruction, is anchoring activities. So these are ongoing assignments or activities that students can work on anytime when other assignments are finished, right? And well, especially so these anchoring activities are good for students, for fast finishers, for high level students, and we can also keep them keep them handy so that we can just give them some not additional but some anchoring activities, again knowing that so this student might for example might do the task well and maybe finish earlier than others, so we can give him another activity so that student can develop skills, develop have more opportunity to develop skills and to learn classroom material. Well, of course, flexible grouping, and this is also strategies that we all use. It's students have when students are given opportunity to work in different groups, so sometimes they can well, usually students are happy to choose their group mates, but sometimes we can use we can use some randomizers, but also I believe that for teachers I believe that it is a good idea for us also to to wisely use this strategy, because we know students, right? And we know how to make sure that every student is also supported and accommodated. Also, we can use peers also as a learning tool as well. So that's why keeping these groups not fixed but flexible for every activity, and also students can have the opportunity to work with different students, and also if we have students with special educational needs, of course it's not a good idea to have them make them work with other students with special educational needs. So we need to make sure that they work in diverse groups so that they can support, help each other, and the group should be changed frequently. So this is well. So now, well, let me check the chat so that I can see. So if you have any questions, any insights, again, dear teachers, dear participants, please feel free to comment, to send me a message in the chat. I will be happy to read, to share, and give my feedback. Well, now...
Could you show the previous slide, please? I'm very sorry for interruption.
No, that's great. Okay, yeah, because I want to hear from you. Okay, just give me a second. Let me go back. Okay. Oh, no, it just... Okay, so this one, right? Flexible grouping. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, so now, since we have this, since we are now having a webinar, as I learned today, it's impossible to break you out into different rooms so that you can work as a group and discuss different scenarios. But that's why I created, so you can scan this QR code and you can go to, it will take you to Padlet, where I put this, where I put 4 scenarios, like classroom scenarios, where teachers face some, maybe some challenges, right? And also I want you to share in the Padlet with your ideas, strategies, and then it would be great to read and also to give some feedback, to give some response. Well, let me check the chat. It's well, sorry, there is one question from Gulmira. Gulmira, is it possible to teach in one group beginner and pre-intermediate student? Well, so if we talk about English class, well, so this is actually usually what happens, right, in real life, because again, yes, students come from different family backgrounds, and some of them probably had tutors. Some of them maybe have, I mean, again, based on theory of multiple intelligence, some students can be linguistic, some students can be math students. Yeah, that's why they may have so many different various backgrounds that when they come to our class and it's just one grade and we see that one is beginner, one is already pre-intermediate, and this is what usually happens. So, but yeah, so according to actually principles of differentiated instruction. So this is really challenging, but that's what it says. Yeah. So it's not like question about if it is possible or impossible, but it's question about like what we do and what we can do so that we make sure that each of these students, I mean, this high level, like intermediate student, let's say, and this beginner student, they are achieving, that they are like academically achieving, and that they are learning, right? Well, and again, we need to understand that we cannot just make them I mean, to equalize and to like maybe like in the end of the term, we cannot like see them just being like on the same, like being the same level on the same page. Of course, there will be differences, but at the same time, it's about what we do so that we make sure that no one is excluded, that everyone is included, even though they may have different levels of language. Okay, so one more question. So let me check. Yes, how to manage? Yes, how to manage? How to manage is a big question. It's still open question, and like from what I mean, like what we've been discussing today, yeah, it's clear that it's not like a set of like ready to use tools, yeah, or strategy. It's about us in the end of the day. We know our students, we get to know them over time. If it is a new class, for example, in the beginning of the year, and then we learn about them. Maybe we talk to psychologists, we talk to their parents, to their homeroom teachers, or just we conduct lessons, yeah. And I mean, like we learn about our students, and then we think how we can now support them, how now we can differentiate instruction so that I, as a teacher, make sure, again, based on my teaching philosophy, on my like values, teaching values, that everyone is excluded, even though they may have different like levels. Well, I put this scenario. There are 4 scenarios, so you can scan this QR code. It will take you again to Padlet dashboard, so you can choose one and you can share your ideas. And first scenario is about mixed ability writing class. Some students are fluent, some students struggle, and they all have to learn how to write an opinion essay. Probably they're going to have SAU, summative assessment for the unit or for the term. The assessment format is opinion essay. And how can we scaffold the process for different like students? How we can challenge advanced students, because some students can be pre-intermediate, yes, some students can be beginners, and how to adapt assessment. Well, adaptation of assessment, of course, it's kind of a big question, because this is like where we come to maybe school accountability, yeah, assessment accountability, and at the same time we have to make sure that we keep this process accountable. Yes, Aidana, thank you. Accountable for all students and for teachers, and the assessment adaptation sometimes can be an issue, because like again, for fairness, for being fair, for being equal, we understand that we need to do like assessment for everyone, yeah, so that everyone can like do the same task. But at the same time, that's why I actually challenge this idea of like having one concept of inclusive education, because this concept of inclusive education can be different from school to school. For example, if you come to NIS, I teach at NIS, and of course, you know about the context of NIS, yeah? So selected students, usually, so the best students from schools here, and we have different contexts, but at the same time, even in the context of NIS, when we have selected students, we also face issues. I mean, not issues, but also we differentiate instruction. And it's not just because we need to do it like for some external evaluations, but because we really see that students, they are different. Yes, they have different learning styles, they have different needs, they have different interests, and it's impossible not to consider. Otherwise, they will get demotivated, and you can see that their grades are also like just fluctuate. And I mean, yeah, how to make sure that they all achieve, yeah, that they enjoy the process, that they are engaged. It's all about, again, differentiation, even considering the context of like selective schools. But if we talk about state schools, mainstream schools, of course, the situation is like, first of all, it's again teacher-student ratio problem, because there are like up to like 30-something students in the class, coming from different backgrounds, coming with different like level of readiness, preparation. Well, and again, assessment. So that's why school just, I mean, teachers as a team of teachers, they also, it's of course it's always a good idea to collaborate with administration, right? So that especially when it comes to adaptation of assessment, of differentiation, maybe even assessment, because some students might need this. I mean, it's impossible for them to take maybe one test paper, the same test paper. So then I think it's also about collaborative work of school leaders, of teachers, of administrators to develop so this maybe some strategies of differentiation in terms of even assessment. Well, for pacing in collaboration with other, it's important for pacing in collaboration with other instructors. Yeah, so that's really important. Collaboration is important. Yeah, like working as a team planning, yeah, team discussion, also bringing like teacher's voice, bringing student voice, parent voice into discussion, yeah, to the table of like discussion is important, because again, like that's one of the most effective ways how we can make sure, yes, that we use differentiated instruction, not just for paper, not just for report, but we truly do this in practice. Well, so this is first scenario. Second scenario is speaking lesson. Again, some students can be confident, they dominate discussion, but some others are shy. For example, I also have some students which are real. I mean, so they have good speaking skills, but at the same time, I know that they are really shy to do some, to speak in public, to do some class presentations. Well, and again, again, we go back to differentiation, right? So how can we differentiate them, grouping our roles? How can we support the students? How we can extend fluent speakers? Next scenario is grammar lesson, present perfect. Some students know the tense, others are new. But at the same time, like, and we cannot just skip, of course, the topic, right, is grammar, because it's very important, and how to make sure that that those who are new, they can learn, and those who are already know, they can do some extension tasks, so that we still like develop their skills. So, and yeah, how to offer choice maybe in practice, what for early finishers, and how to support those who need repetition or visuals. And one more scenario is reading lesson. Again, reading levels also vary, and what we do, yeah, how we differentiate tasks, how we check understanding, and how to differentiate context. Probably even the text also can be adjusted, right, to different levels. Well, so, and and now I want to make sure that have you accessed Padlet? Does it work? Just to make sure, check. Okay, let me also Can this one? Okay. Yeah, so I think that you can also see comments made by other teachers. And so the one here is for scenario for mixed ability writing class. And I can see that it says provide important necessary vocabulary, allow choosing topics. Yeah, so that's a really great idea for differentiation. And this is what usually teachers do. Yeah, we can provide them with some like vocabulary, glossary, highlight maybe words. Well, we still have time, so that's why take your time to answer, to share in the Padlet, so that we can share also here, maybe discuss some of the scenarios, some of the issues. Okay, I got question. Mm-hmm. Well, also I put some questions for reflection, for feedback. And here you can see like 2 questions. So what differentiation ideas stood out to you and which will you try first? Also, I put some more questions about the ideas, yes, some maybe concept that we I tried to cover today in today's presentation. So please, yeah, feel free to take your time to answer these questions. So you can do it now so that we can share, discuss maybe some questions here. That would be great. Or you can actually do it also after our webinar. I will also address this question, so give my feedback. It would be great to hear from you.
Dear participants of our webinar, do you have any questions? You are free to unmute your microphones and ask the questions, or text them in the chat.
So I've got a question to Ainur. You mentioned that the management strategy or the management style also affects the differentiation process in the classroom. Could you talk a little more about that?
I guess it was, okay, let me go back. Managerial style. Well, yeah, this is what I mentioned when I talked about my research findings.
Yes, that you engaged some subject coordinators.
Yeah, subject coordinators. Yeah, so I engaged, so I interviewed. So I used interview as a research tool because my research design was case study. And what my research findings showed that there is a lack of leadership due to managerial style. Well, so here I want to say that so when I reviewed literature for my research, I found that there are different styles of leadership, and so those which those which are linked to again, it was like literature grounded finding, linked to differentiation and linked to inclusive education, since it's just one big field. So it's transformative style of leadership. So when leaders are those like, and it's not about like being in administrative position, but everyone can be leader, any teacher can be leader. But also I chose like subject coordinator. So subject coordinators, it's not like an administrative position, but subject coordinator is a leadership position, let's say, not administrative. And but I found that like the style, the leader, like so the leadership style was mainly managerial. Managerial means that, I mean, teachers usually, and it was like back in 2018, probably because of the lack of maybe, I don't know, information, maybe I believe that there is that like the body of research has expanded over time a lot about differentiated instruction. But back in 2018, teachers usually so like they lacked, maybe they had some maybe deficits in understanding, and they usually thought that it's about some differentiating tasks, again, depending on different levels of preparation, of different language levels of students. And usually the style of leadership style that was applied in that school for gifted students was managerial, like a manager. Yeah? So I come and I say what you should do. It's not like transformative leadership style, which is also like which is also embedded in the principles of inclusive education, where you want to transform the system, when you want to make some positive changes, meaningful changes. But usually managerial style, okay, so now we have some kind of evaluation coming to our school, evaluation group coming to our school. We need to make sure that you all have like these differentiated instruction strategies in your lesson plans, but they don't go like deep down into the curriculum, into students' needs. They don't actually study students, they don't study literature, they don't study their teachers' needs, they don't work together to find out about the context of their school and to understand how inclusive it is. Yeah, what is the idea of inclusive education? They should develop some skills or some strategies, approaches to promote inclusive education in their school. So that's why I mentioned, so my research findings show that the style of leadership was mainly managerial.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I have one more question. It's about genuine making school culture more inclusive. Yeah, so that's true. Collaboration, again, collaboration of teachers and admins, collaboration of school and parents, collaboration of students and teachers, right? So yeah, that's so true. Because of course, like teacher alone can make some difference, but it's better when we collaborate on a school-wide level. And really school, it's good for schools to change this like managerial style to some transformative or transformative style. Well, we have 2 minutes until the end of the webinar. Well, let me, so I have covered everything I planned. Yeah, you still can leave your comments, your questions in the Padlet. I will get back to you after webinar. And as for summary, yeah, differentiation isn't about creating a different lesson. Yeah, of course, it's impossible. Teachers are just snowed under work every time, like always, but it's about using varied approaches, right? So we have one content, but we can differentiate this content. We can think about what kind of different products students can demonstrate, not only one, because they are again different. and how we can actually differentiate the process. Yeah, it's all about being inclusive. And again, inclusive education, it's not about only special education. It's about education for all, for every student, in every single class and in every single school. Thank you very much, dear participants. Yeah, I was happy to present for you today. Thank you, Aidana, for organizing this webinar.
Thank you, Ms. Ainura, for speaking on such an important topic, which is still remaining, one of the questionable, discussable topics, and we all see the relevance in it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all the effort you put in this webinar, and I hope all the participants found the information useful and have some takeaways. If you have any questions, you still have the access to Padlet, and Ms. Ainura will see them and reply to them. And I guess we'll see all of you in our future webinars. Stay tuned. We will announce all the information. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.